In the name of Allah, the most merciful and beneficent. Dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Rehan Rauf and you are watching Base College channel. Base College has the opportunity to take the first position in federal board consecutively for 2 years. So let's restart our today's topic. Today's our topic is from the unit number 1 of second year vision and mission, and topic 1.2 Jinnah's vision of Pakistan. After the earlier emerging of Pakistan, Jinnah has the mission to get the Pakistani peoples in a situation where there is no corruption, no nepotism, all the minorities and other people will live together, where there will be no jobbery and no other evils of the society. He addressed to the Constituent Assembly of Pakistan in 11 August 1947. Constituent means an institute which makes law. So it means that it is an institution which makes law for the future of Pakistan. Jinnah's address is their deliverance in 11 August 1947. First of all, he thanked to the assembly and said that in the beginning of the speech that there are 2 functions of Constituent Assembly. First of all is the function of framing of the future constitution. Constitution means Ain. So very first function of the Constituent Assembly is to framing the future constitution, and second one is to function as a federal legislature of Pakistan. These are the 2 main functions of the Constituent Assembly. After this, he said that the first very foremost duty of the government. What is the foremost duty of the government? Very foremost duty of the government is to maintain law and order and to protect life, property and religious beliefs of the subjects. The subjects include majorities as well as minorities. Then he discussed about the 4 social evils or curses of the society. Number 1, bribery. Number 2, corruption. Number 3, nepotism. Number 4, jobbery. And he said that these are the evils which we got in legacy from other peoples of Hindustan. Then he said about the rights of the minorities and discussed that minorities have the equal rights in the state of Pakistan. There is equal management will be managed in the Pakistan to protect minorities. There will be no racial discrimination among the majorities and minorities. There are some glossary. Constituent Assembly means कानून साज इदारा, ऐसा इदारा जो कानून बनाता है. नंबर 2, लेजिस्लेचर, कानून बनाने का जो प्रोसेस है, जो अमल है, उसको कहा जाता है लेजिस्लेचर. नंबर 3, कॉन्टेंशियस. कॉन्टेंशियस मीन मतनाज़ा, पेचीदा. कंपिटेंट मीन लाइक, काबिल, मुख्तार. प्रोनाउंसमेंट मीन ऐलान, सॉवरेन. सॉवरेन मीन खुद मुख्तार. Unprecedented mean बेमिसाल, बेनज़ीर. एंड एंगुलरिटीज़ मीन अकड़पन या आपस की जो रंजिशें हैं वो कहलाती हैं एंगुलरिटीज़. This is the total crux of the subject, and Quaid-e-Azam has a vision about the forthcoming Pakistan that the minorities will get equal rights. He said that, remember that you are now a sovereign legislative body and you have got all the powers. It is therefore places on you the gravest responsibility as to how you should take your decisions. The first observation that I would like to make is this: You will no doubt agree with me that the first duty of the government is to maintain law and order so that the life, property and religious beliefs of its subjects are fully protected by the state. Here it is very commonly thing that he said that the minorities have equal rights in the state of Pakistan. They are free to profess their religious beliefs and go to their respective places of worship. Their rights would be equally protected by the state. And at the other side, he said that religion is the personal matter of every individual or group, but politically they would be citizens of the state. They would enjoy full freedom and their fundamental rights would be protected by the state. Actually, he wanted a democratic state in which all the citizens would enjoy fundamental rights. Everyone would be free in his thoughts, whether political or religious. All the people would live together and work in cooperation. Religion, caste or creed has nothing to do with the business of the state. This was the main theme of the subject. Now we look at the study questions. Go to your exercise and check it. Question number 1 is, when and where did Muhammad Ali Jinnah deliver this speech? The answer is simple. He delivered the speech to the Constituent Assembly of Pakistan, and when on 11 August 1947. Second question is, what two functions of the Constituent Assembly did Muhammad Ali Jinnah refer? कौन से दो functions थे जिनका मोहम्मद अली जिन्ना ने हवाला दिया Constituent Assembly के हवाले से? In the beginning of his speech, अपनी speech के आगाज में Muhammad Ali Jinnah referred to the two main functions. Number 1, framing of the future constitution, मुस्तकबिल का जो आइन बनाना है उसके बारे में ढांचा तैयार करना. And number 2, to function as a federal legislature of Pakistan, और पाकिस्तान का जितना भी वफाकी कानून बनाने का अमल है उसमें हिस्सा लेना. इसके लिए वाज़ेह तौर पे हुज़ूर सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम के ये जो एक इस्लामी रियासत जो उनसे वो बनने जा रही थी, कायद आज़म भी है जो है वो उन्हीं के विजन के मुताबिक पाकिस्तान को एक ऐसी रियासत बनाना चाहते थे जो फलाही हो, जो बिल्कुल जो है जिसकी मुकम्मल तौर पर इस्लामी तौर पे जो उसकी बुनियाद रखी जाए. फिर उसके बाद अगला क्वेश्चन है, व्हाट डिड ही से अबाउट द फर्स्ट फंक्शन ऑफ द असेंबली. ये दोबारा क्वेश्चन रिपीट हो रहा है. द फर्स्ट फंक्शन ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली इज द फ्रेमिंग ऑफ द फ्यूचर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. पहला जो फंक्शन है, इसके साथ आप ये भी बता सकते हैं कि गवर्नमेंट की फर्स्ट ड्यूटी जो है वो क्या है, टू मेंटेन लॉ एंड ऑर्डर so that the life of the people may be protected and there also the property and also their religious beliefs. These are all concerned with the law, maintaining of law and order. The next question is question number 4. What did he say about the second function? The second function, he said that to act as the federal legislature of Pakistan. He said that our country is suffering from the curse of bribery and corruption, and he hoped that this assembly would take enough measure to eliminate these social evils from the state. Question number 5 is, which legacy does Muhammad Ali Jinnah refer to in his speech? वैसे तो उन्होंने चारों ही चीज़ें कही कि ये हमें वर्से में मिली हैं, लेकिन ख़ास तौर पे जिन दो लेगेसीज़ या वर्से के अंदर उन्होंने कहा कि ये वर्से में हमें मिली हैं, सॉरी, नेपोटिज्म एंड जॉबरी. ये स्पेशली जो है वो कायद आज़म ने इसके हवाले से कहा कि ये हमें वर्से में मिली हैं. उसके बाद अगला क्वेश्चन है, व्हाट आर द कायद्स व्यू अबाउट द डिवीजन ऑफ इंडिया. कायद आज़म के क्या ख्यालात थे इंडिया की डिवीजन के हवाले से? So he said that into two sovereign states was the only solution of India's constitutional problem. कि ये डिवीजन जो ये वाहिद हल थी इंडिया के आइनी मसले का. And he further said that the future history would also prove this. What did he say about the minorities? Minorities के बारे में आपने क्या फरमाया? He said that the minorities have equal rights in the state of Pakistan. They are free to profess their religions and go to their respective worship places. Their rights would be equally protected by the state. Question number 8. What kind of freedom does Muhammad Ali Jinnah envision for the people of Pakistan in general? अमूमी तौर पर मोहम्मद अली जिन्ना पाकिस्तान के लोगों का क्या रखते थे कि वो कैसे जो उनसे उनकी आज़ादी के बारे में उनके क्या ख्यालात थे. मोहम्मद अली जिन्ना वांटेड अ डेमोक्रेटिक स्टेट. वो एक जमहूरी हुकूमत चाहते थे जो कि लोगों की हुकूमत हो, इन विच ऑल द सिटीज़न वुड एंजॉय फंडामेंटल राइट्स, जहाँ पे तमाम सिटीजन्स को बुनियादी सहूलियात मुयसर होंगी. एवरी वन वुड फ्री इन हिज थाट्स, हर एक अपनी सोच में अपने काम में आज़ाद होगा. वेदर पॉलिटिकल और रिलीजियस, आया कि वो सियासी हों या मजहबी हों. ऑल द पीपल वुड लिव टुगेदर, तमाम लोग इकट्ठे मिलकर रहेंगे. एंड वर्क इन कोऑपरेशन, और मिलकर काम करेंगे. रिलीजन, कास्ट और क्रीड, मज़हब, नस्ल या ज़ात हैज़ नथिंग टू डू विद द बिजनेस ऑफ द स्टेट, इसका रियासत के मामलात से कुछ लेना देना नहीं है. इंटरप्रेटिंग क्वेश्चन में व्हाट डज मोहम्मद अली जिन्ना मीन बाय द हिंदूज वुड सीज टू बी हिंदूज, कि हिंदू हिंदू रहेंगे एंड मुस्लिम्स वुड सीज टू बी मुस्लिम. एक्सप्लेन, इस बात की वजाहत करें. ही वांटेड टू से दैट ऑल वुड बी इक्वल सिटीजन्स ऑफ पाकिस्तान, कि तमाम लोग जो हैं वो पाकिस्तान के बराबर के शहरी होंगे. रिलीजन इज़ द पर्सनल मैटर ऑफ एवरी इंडिविजुअल और ग्रुप, but politically they would be the citizens of the state. They would enjoy full freedom, मुकम्मल तौर पर उनको आज़ादी हासिल होगी. and their fundamental rights would be protected by the state. उसके बाद जो क्वेश्चन है, make a list of the fundamental principles that comprise Jinnah vision of Pakistan, ये क्वेश्चन नंबर 8 के बिल्कुल उसी के सिनोनिम है, बिल्कुल वही सेम क्वेश्चन दोबारा रिपीट हो रहा है मुख्तलिफ एंगल से. So, having reading Jinnah's vision of Pakistan and lists the fundamental principle that you made in answer, what have we achieved and what not with regard to Jinnah's vision of Pakistan? Unfortunately, we have not achieved the vision of Pakistan. Pakistan went into the hands of selfish people who sat beside the lesson given by Muhammad Ali Jinnah and to run the state and fully destroyed it. We have become selfish and greedy. We are not as loyal. हम अब इतने वफादार नहीं रहे हैं जितना कि कायद आज़म मोहम्मद अली जिन्ना थे. Thank you very much. In the name of Allah, the most merciful and beneficent. Dear viewers, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Rehan Rauf and you are watching English Classroom. Today our topic is the blades of grass. It is the topic of unit 1 and topic number is 1.3. The poet of this poem is Stephen Crane. He was born in 1871 and died in 1900, just in the age of 29 years. He was died due to the tuberculosis, and his birthplace was New Jersey in USA. His masterpiece was the novel of The Red Badge of Courage, and other works include the 2 volumes of poetry and short stories. So, theme of the poem is the best deeds or works are those done without a thought of reward. First of all, we take a look at the summary of the poem. The poet says that some blades of grass were standing before the God on the day of judgment. The God asked them that what they have done in their lives. The blades of grass excitedly started to narrate their deeds, and everyone was telling his deeds very excitedly. One little blade of grass was standing beside. He was very shy. He did not take any part in this questioning and answering. After some time, God asked this little blade of grass that why he is standing alone and what did he done in the world. This little blade of grass said that he has a bitter memory. He has nothing left with his past. He has no concern with the good deeds, or even if he had done it, he know nothing about them. This was a very humble answer. God liked it very much and answered that this little one is the best of all. Best means, this is used as here the superlative form, the good of all. So glossary means, look at this, eagerly mean, शौक से, very excitedly they tell it to relate, they started. बयान करना, impatiently, बेसब्री से. merits mean खूबियाँ, खासियतें, वस्फ. splendor, grandeur, brilliance are all the synonyms. Splendor mean शान शौकत, grandeur जाहो जलाल, brilliance जलवा. All the three words are used for stating the state of the God. Throne mean takht. And here in this poem the writer used the technique of personification. Personification is the technique in which the writer tells the qualities of living things into non-living things. This technique is called personification. So this personification he has well defined in this poem. Now look at the study questions of the poem. First of all, understanding the poem, in which the question answers are telling that question number 1 is what does God ask the little blade of grass? What do the blades of grass say in response? God asked the little blade of grass that what they did in their lives, and they began to narrate impatiently. बड़ी बेसब्री से उन्होंने जो है वो इस बात का अपने बढ़ चढ़ कर अपने किस्से बयान करने शुरू कर दिए. बढ़ा चढ़ा कर अपने जो उनके गुड एक्शंस थे उनको बढ़ा चढ़ा कर बयान करना शुरू कर दिया बड़े शेखी ज़दा अंदाज में. नंबर 2 क्वेश्चन है, व्हाट डज द लिटिल ब्लेड ऑफ ग्रास से व्हेन इट इज़ एड्रेस्ड बाय गॉड? व्हाई वाज गॉड मूव्ड बाय द ब्लेड्स आंसर? कि गॉड जो है वो उस छोटे पत्ते के आंसर से क्यों मुतासिर हुआ? The little blade of grass answered that he did not about his good actions, कि वो बिल्कुल नहीं जानता अपने good actions के बारे में. His way of response was full of humbleness, क्योंकि बहुत ज़्यादा आजाना जवाब था, इस वजह से, and thus God was moved by this answer. And third question is, this poem uses a personification. Personification is talking about inanimate and abstract objects as if they were human. Why does the poet use blade of grass? Question बड़ा important है कि poet ने यहाँ पे इंसानों का जिक्र क्यों नहीं किया, इसके बजाय उसने घास के पत्तों का जिक्र क्यों किया है? आंसर मतलब पहले आपको मैंने personification की definition देंगे. And the poet uses blades of grass to communicate his idea because he wants to convey his message in an effective and moving manner. He wants to tell us that even a small blade of grass knows how to respond and show humbleness before God. Thank you very much.